Good morning, students. Hope you're all safe and sound. Moving to further in our chapter number 4, that is supply. In our last video, we had discussed about what is meant by production, what is meant by stock, the difference between stock and supply, and the factors which affect supply. In today's topic, we'll be concentrating, that is 4.4, in what is meant by individual supply and market supply. Now, supply, as you can see, can be classified into two parts. That is, one is known as individual supply and the other one is known as market supply. The major difference in both the terms is that the individual supply refers to the quantity supplied by a single seller, whereas the market supply refers to the quantity supplied by all sellers in the market. The individual supply describes the willingness of an individual to provide a specific quantity of a good or service to the market at a given period of time. It is affected by the different factors that we discussed earlier, like price, the cost of production, the future expectations about the prices, and other factors like the government policies, the condition of the workers, the mechanisms that is used, etc. So we can say that individual supply shows the willingness of the individual for providing the supply, whereas the market supply refers to the summation of all the suppliers that are in the market, and that is called as market supply at a given price at a particular point of time. Now here on the screen you can see an hypothetical example that is given, that in that we can see two different firms, that is firm A and firm B. In the last column we can see the total combined market supply of, imagining that there are two firms in the market, that is firm A and firm B. We can also see the prices given, and at different prices the supply made by the firm A and firm B, and the summation of both of them will give us the combined supply of firms A and B. For example, if we take the first one at price 10, the supply of firm A is 80 and the firm B is 60, and the market supply becomes 140, that is adding up 80 and 60. Moving further to when the price rise to rupees 30, the supplier of firm A will supply 240 and the supplier of firm B is supplying 180, and the total comes down to 420. So 420 becomes the market supply. The individual supply of firm A is 240 and the individual supply of firm B is 180. So you can see that there is a positive relationship between price and the supply in the market. As and when the price increases of a particular commodity, the suppliers start supplying more in the market in order to earn more profit. So supply and price have a positive relationship between both of them. Coming down, after this hypothetical example is given the explanation of schedule or the diagrams. Based on this particular hypothetical example, we will see that how a diagrammatic representation can be done, showing individual supply and showing market supply. Now the supply curve plots the quantity that is willingly supplied at any given price. The individual supply curves can be summed by the quantity provided at a specific price to achieve an aggregate supply curve. And as we can see, the supply curve is always moving upward in the short run. You can see in the demand we had seen that it was negatively sloped. It would used to move down because when the prices rose, the demand will contract. Here we have a direct and a positive relationship between price and supply. So whenever the prices will rise, the supply will be more in the market, and so the supply curve always moves upward. So here we can see, taking the example from the hypothetical example of page number 37, we can see the supply curve of firm A is drawn, the individual supply curve of firm B is drawn. Now, when you want to draw such a representation, what you have to take, supposing for supply of firm A individual supply has to be drawn. Then the two columns that have to be taken are, as you can see over here, the prices and the supply of firm A. So in the graphical presentation you will mark on the x-axis you will be marking the supply, and on the y-axis you will be marking the price, and accordingly the plotting of the points will be 10, 80, 20, 180, 30, 240, 40, 300 and 50, 400. So when you mark the points, what output you will be get as a diagrammatic presentation is what you can see on the screen. So the supply curve of firm A. Same way, when you want to draw the supply of firm B, the first and the third column will be considered, that is price and the supply of firm B. So the points will be plotted will be 10 and 60, 20 and 100, 30 and 180, 40 and 260, 50 and 300. So here you can see the supply curve of firm B with the points that we stated just now. That is, at 10 we have 60, at 20 we have 100, at 30 you can see point number C shows 180, at 40 you can see point number D shows 260, and at 50 you can see that point number E shows 300. Coming down to the last one, that is what we saw right now was individual supply curve of firm B, A and B. Now we'll be seeing the market supply curve. Market supply means the summation of the supply of firm A and B. So now you will be taking the first and the last column, that is price is 10 and the market supply is 140. When it is 20, the market supply increases to 280. So if you see the diagrammatic representation over here, you can see the points of 10 and 140, 20 and 280, which is shown by point B. Point C shows 30 and 420. Point D shows 40 and 560. Point price 50 is shown by point E, that is 50 and 700. So this is a summation of the individual supplies of firm A and B, which is depicted by the term market supply curve. So finally we conclude that in the individual market supply curve we will be seeing the supply of a particular supplier for a particular commodity at a given price and at a particular point of time, whereas the market supply will refer to the quantity supplied by all sellers in the market. So this is how we have completed the topic of individual supply and market supply. Moving on to our next topic, that is a small topic which we will be covering in this video right now, the supply function. As you can see, as we had learned the demand function, same way the supply function also shows a mathematical, or you can say a functional relationship between two things, that is supply of a good and its determinants. The determinants will include the price, will include the other factors like the technological factors, then the expectations regarding prices and other factors. Now let us look into how it is represented. We can say that supply function is a mathematical representation of the relationship between the supply of a good with its determinants, if you want to put it in other words. So Sx refers to the supply of a particular commodity, that is X. F, because it is a functional relationship, so the F refers to a functional notation. Px refers to the price of that particular commodity which we are talking about. That is, in the supply also we are talking about the commodity X, and we are talking Px, we are talking about the price of the commodity X. The T over here refers to the technological or the level of technology that we'll be using in order to produce that particular commodity. The PF refers to the price of the factors that affect the particular commodity supply. PE refers to the expectations regarding the future prices. So if in the future the prices are going to fall, then current supply will increase, and vice versa. If in the future the expectation is that the prices will fall down or will rise, then automatically the current supply will be reduced. So they have an inverse relationship, you can say. When the expectation is about rise, current supply will fall, and vice versa. Coming down to U, all the other factors which are not covered in this functional notation by representation will be covered in U. So apart from that, the cost of production, the government policies, the environment, etc., will all be covered in the other factors. So you can see the Sx is equal to F, in bracket we have Px, comma T, comma Pf, comma Pe, comma U. So these are the different functional notation by which you can represent the function of supply. In the next video, we'll be covering the law of supply and the assumptions of the law of supply. Thank you.